Alright, looks like I'm back. My son killed the entire network. Alright, I'm back. And we got a market open, so much for pre-market movers. Oh, SMTX didn't open that high after all. Funny thing about pre-market. Let's see what's now working. GNC down 21%. That's quite a significant drop in GNC at Biomed. AMRN and not really going after trying to start. Low volume sell-off it appears though, so hopefully that'll be form a nice little flat base for us. Am I still streaming, y'all? Any signs of life out there? Okay, looks like Eli's telling me I'm going, so. Alright. Alright, NASDAQ looks like selling off a little bit here. Reaching yesterday's, or the follow-through day, the bottom of the follow-through day level, so that's going to be a little significant. I had to go deal with getting back online, so I really couldn't work with, looking up IBD. Trial. Oh, I need a whole new thing. Sorry guys, this hasn't really happened to me before. And I need to pull a new chat window from YouTube, it looks like. Alright, looks like we're breaking that follow-through day low. I want the damn answer to this, whether this kills the uptrend or not. Trying to remember if it's in. Let me go check our reference book I've got. Hold on. Level 1 workbook. Yeah, I've got an IBD workbook here to a thing that I went to and see if they mentioned follow-through days. Well. Oh, Eli was a follow-through day. Get over it. Just because it fails doesn't mean it's not a follow-through day. Yeah.
Ethan needs help getting into the room.
Close the door.
But we need help.
And continuing to sell off. Yeah, I don't see the answer in here. Real quick. Roku, SIA here. Funko Tilroy, EC. Yeah, the futures have Friday as a distribution day. Definitely could be. But I guess the NASDAQ didn't for whatever reason. This doesn't talk about follow-through days. I tried Googling it for like 30 minutes the other day and it got nowhere. Not very encouraging. And if this does fail a follow-through day, then it'll be bad. Okay, follow-through day. Next day rally. But the rally stalled the next day. A few sessions later, as we dropped 4 points at a clear distribution day. Okay, the next session, the TechRich Index undercut the low of day one. The rally was pronounced dead. Okay, so our rally is dead. Low of day one in the rally attempt. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what they're saying here as we're drilling a little lower here. So what they say here is this number one's a follow-through day. There's your higher volume. There's your close. Number two was a distribution day. Really close, but notice it doesn't undercut. And they say here the next session, which is this one undercuts one and the ultimate low. It says the TechRich Index undercut the low of day one in the rally attempt. Now, day one in the rally attempt would have been this one, day zero, day one. So I don't know. I think that's a mispronunciation, and I'm not sure if they mean day one in terms of this number one, this day 5 follow-through day, or if they're referring to, by saying day one in the rally attempt means the ultimate low in my mind. That's kind of what that reads like to me. So, yeah, either way you look at it there. Definitely could have some lower prices to come here. I think it could be a little warranted by Apple's down 4% today. That could be a reason why. Amazon down 2.75% so far. Amazon looks very eerily similar to the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ definitely taking it on the chin. S&P only down 0.58%. The Qs are down 1.55%. That's a significant difference. The Dow has been leading this rally. And they're down 0.52%. There's a big gap in the Dow, as a matter of fact. Don't get any volume with this one, but I was reading earlier they said the Dow has been faring the best. And I think it's because that they're selling off the techs and they're buying something else. So the see how far we're off the bottom on the Dow here. 7% to right now, or now with here we're probably only up like 4%. Oops. 5.8%. And from the highs we're down, looks like we're down about 4 to 5%. 4 to 4.25% of the Dow, or on the NASDAQ we're down more than that, obviously. So stairs up, elevator down, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we're down about 10% on the NASDAQ. So if you ignore distribution days and follow through days and stuff like that, I'm with Eli. It definitely looks toppish. Drew this upward trend line the other day. We crossed that on Friday. Looks like failing it this morning so far. Let's go look at some individual names. But if we continue selling off on lower volume, we definitely can turn around at any point in the game. The whole point of looking at leading stocks here actually is to kind of see, where could be a healthy turnaround point, because these stocks are going to lead the turnaround point. Our leading stocks, Apple, Amazon, will lead the turnaround when we get that, unless they end up selling off heavier, because they've sold off a lot of other things. If they start selling off Apple and Amazon more quickly, then they will obviously end up, indexes will end up quite a bit lower. INS having a good day today. No volume to speak of, however. Funko. VIPs. GMED still holding on okay. Fizz not doing too bad at these lows. We talked about this last week. I think it was Friday. Fizz coming off the bottom, kind of living on a resistance level right here. This mouse is a little more. Actually, you know what? I think I can increase my own resolution just by doing that. There we go. So Fizz trying to get over that little resistance level if it can, and maybe get past the 50-day, which is up a little bit more. Maybe could be doing good. Tilray up a little bit. There's INS again, NIO again. NIO, we talked about trying to. I think that was our gap level that it was up to, but it sold off before the open there. Whoops. Yeah, this mouse is a little weird. LAD 5 holding up pretty well, definitely relative to most other market participants, looking really good right there. Nasdaq down 1.27, so it's been sitting there flat for most of the day. ERBN, Torch, PI, CGC, no, that's NUS. WGO, AR, I want to go to ARRS. Okay, ARRS. Yeah, tell me there's no institutional insider buying the day before blowout earnings. Look how tight that is. That's like super, super tight action. Extraordinarily tight, coming out of this very long downtrend. ARS been in a base for 1, 2, 3, 4.5 years. So very good for longer term upward trend prospects, these types of bases. Although no one really talks about them. I think, I can't say this definitively, I don't know who else talks about multi-year bases. IBD maybe every once in a while, but they usually look at most recent chart patterns. But these multi-year bases can be extraordinarily powerful. And with extremely tight price action such as this, I mean, look at that. This is the daily chart, and look at just the lack of volume compared to these recent days. Now you can view this as buying or selling, like Friday. Look at Friday. I mean, it's just a nothing. It's a nothing day in terms of. Come on, man. In terms of the high to the low, the high was 30.8, low was 20-cent trading range, with 7 times average volume. Well, not quite 7, 6 times average volume. I don't know which way to attribute that to buying or selling. I really don't. Usually it would imply some selling action, but that price action just being so tight. Did they get bought? Maybe they got bought. I don't see news that they got bought. Yeah, no news on ARRS, but definitely some of the more interesting price action I've seen in quite a long time. Just really, really, really tight up here. Usually that would mean bullish action because it's not majorly selling off and there's someone supporting it. So I guess maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But that's really something to note. And just the insane volume. I mean, look at this weekly chart on ARRS. You're talking 100 million shares traded in that week. I don't know when you see 100 million shares ever traded in ARRS, ever. The biggest was 50 million back here and here. This was at a top. This was towards a low. And that was that bottom right there. That was that top right there. So the question is this a bottom, a top, or a breakout? Looks like a breakout. Looks like a breakout in ARRS. So interesting action there in ARRS. All right, down 1.41% now in the NASDAQ. We've dropped a little lower, it appears. If you think we're going much lower, maybe buying that SQQQ to kind of offset a little bit. If you guys did buy some of the TQQQ, if you guys have cash left over, you should. If it's going to continue lower there. .4%. Yeah, not too many exceptional bases to buy out of. I think that's I was talking about this the other day too. I don't know if it was with you, Eli, or on the stream here. I don't remember, but I was talking about that there's, part of looking for the bottoms in these follow-through days and stuff is looking at the number of bases that have formed, and these corrections form the bases. Like if you look at Amazon, everyone's scared of Amazon, but it looks like it's just forming a base. It's selling off, and it's going to be a bigger base than we've had in the past couple of years, but it's going to be a base to buy off of, meaning that in time, NASDAQ will be just fine. Apple, similar situation. Looks like it's basing. What form is the base going to take? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what the base form is going to take, but we haven't seen sell-offs like this in quite some time. Apple here based for almost 2 years, it looks like. I can't see because of all the damn earnings. I'd like to flip this up here if I could, but 18, 17, 16. So from 15 15 to 16, Apple was basing almost the entire time, oscillating a few times, but definitely putting a channel in. And then it breaks out, and then kind of, off to the races we go. We could do something similar here. You could put a channel in. Could be a year, could be 2 years, who knows? Hard to say exactly. And then what macroeconomically is going to come into play in the meantime. That, are the tariffs going to get lifted? Is Apple going to move a lot of manufacturing to the U.S.? Are they just going to write it out? Who knows? That's going to have a big impact. Amazon, in terms of the tariffs, they do have some exposure. You have to imagine that a lot of the products on Amazon are manufactured in China, and they're going to have some exposure. I know that they manufacture a lot of products themselves through the Amazon Basics brand, and I'm pretty sure most of those are manufactured in China just to keep pace. So that may start, or probably is already affecting Amazon a little bit. Obviously doesn't affect all their business segments, as they've diversified quite a bit these days, but just looking like a normal base here. Could go down, put in some more bottoming action here, which would do the same in the indexes, I'm sure. Now down almost 1.5% in the NQ. And Dow Jones down 0.75. It was down 0.5 earlier. Let's look at the SPY, 0.78. So we've had a good bounce. It came up pretty quick. I mean, if you look at this market action here, we had nice bounce, longer bounce. Obviously, ours have only been 4 or 5 days. Secondary bounce, and then a deeper cutting sell-off to these recent lows. S&P was not acting nearly as healthy as the Nasdaq was during that correction time frame. If you remember, the Nasdaq did this, went into new highs. So this peak was on March 13th. This peak right here, March 13th, and you can see the difference here. The divergence. We had a higher low here, had a higher low here. Actually going off volatility funnel the other day, looked like 1, 2, 3 lows, 1, 2, 3 high, and then you got volatility funnel right there. So there's your buy point from a volatility tunnel perspective. But for longer term investors, nothing wrong with buying here, and then kind of waiting all of this out, because we're talking about that TQQQ strategy basically, right? Buying the high volume down day, buying the follow through day. This whole low area could be decent to buy. Again, longer term. We're not talking white labeled products from China. Yeah, exactly. That's what I figured. But buying down in this area longer term may not necessarily be a bad thing. Again, if this is lower volume sell-offs, we talked about the high volume sell-off hypothesis a month or so ago. Low volume sell-offs in this area. Let me pull up this article again from IBD. If you notice this market action, you had a low here, a lower low, which is what we have currently, some weak action. Then it just goes flat, just oscillates for several months. As a matter of fact, this looks a lot like what we have today, even in terms of time frame, because we're in the middle of November now, which is crazy. And so we're in the middle of November, and we can go sideways throughout the holidays, and then eventually pull out of it for whatever reason. You got to keep in mind with the stock market, unlike cryptocurrency, is there's support here. There's support here, and when you're talking about buying indexes, which is what we do with this TQQQ strategy, it's just a time game. That's it. It's not meant to be a hyper managed strategy. In terms of that TQQQ position, from a trading position, it's different. If you want to take profits up here, the follow through day gets you a little bullish, but breaking the follow through day maybe gets you bearish. Maybe you take a short position here and kind of wait to see what happens here. But the other day, if you remember here, it was looking really bad in the morning. Then I got off my stream, it pretty much reversed almost immediately. And then we ended up having the follow through day a couple of days later. So, like I said, markets can turn back at any time, but we're still below the 200, still below the 50, and undercutting the follow through day. I think according to their definition, I'll have to do more research on this, but actually, I want to do more research on this right now. I want to figure it out. My kids are watching the movie, I'm assuming, and let's do some Googling. Hey, Google's got a new thing. Veterans Day. Yeah, happy Veterans Day, guys. If there's any veterans out there, thanks for what you do, what you did. When does a follow through day fail? I think this is a different. There you go. Cut losses at 3 to 5%. Instead of taking usual 7 to 8%. It's a good rule. IBD's got good stuff. New buys aren't making progress after follow through. Don't look for additional buys. Throwing good money after bad is a common pitfall for many investors. Absolutely true. To be honest with you guys, I haven't bought anything, even on the follow through. I was looking, I didn't see anything I wanted to buy. Remember I mentioned that? I don't think I put enough emphasis on that maybe, but I have my NQ positions, and I've got Eli says, you said Friday usually traders show what they want to do. Does that mean that Monday they do the opposite? Yeah, in some cases it does. In some cases it does. And it's not traders, it's institutions. It's full-blown institutions. They try to, they got corporate jobs like everyone else. And, at the end of the week, at the end of the quarter, they sometimes have to show stuff to their bosses, I'm sure. They pull reports or something like that. So that's why the end of the week really kind of shows what they want to do. And yeah, on the same token, Mondays can be for some fake outs. Absolutely, it's possible. It's not. I haven't noted it as a general kind of guideline where Friday, you want to see the close into the day and the close into Friday to give you some indication. Sorry guys, I'm feeling a little weird right now. But yeah, you could view the flip side of that coin as true as well, I think. Yeah. But it's kind of funny if you think about all these little rules with stocks about the close the end of the day, close of Fridays. You look at lunch being choppy, the morning being a fake out. You're left with like 3 hours of normal price action. So I think it gets a little bit exhaustive. And it takes a little bit of time, I think, to assimilate this stuff into your subconscious mind. I was actually just talking to the kids about subconscious mind and, how you work with things in real time, trying to figure it out. And, I think your subconscious mind assimilates all that information and takes over the routine of that new knowledge. And I think, like anything, this is just another skill to learn where your subconscious mind, needs to do some takeover. And it takes a little while to do that, rather than assimilating all of these different counterintuitive quote unquote rules. They're not rules. They're barely even guidelines. It's just kind of something that's noted and you kind of hear through the grapevine over the years of being involved in trading. This is draining. That's why I don't do streams while sick. It's draining. Yeah, so we tried a little rally there, and then we got pushed right back down, right to 1.5% again on the NASDAQ. Not looking so hot. So IBD is talking about taking profits faster, cutting losses quicker. And we've been talking about that on crypto recently, taking profits faster. So reading this IBD article, say not all follow-through signals are foolproof, but they're always important to recognize. They say the ones that occur after 15%, but all follow-through days are not as straightforward as others. The ones that occur after 10 to 20%, 15 to 20% pullback in the market generally tend to work better than those occur at a shorter-term pullback. We saw ours occur after a 15% drop. So we're definitely in the middle of normal pullback scenario here. So we'll see some follow-through days that occur in the later stages of a bull market can be choppy, hesitant, and begrudging. We're definitely in the later stages of a bull market. When was this article? 2014. So growth investors with a successful track record will always take cues from the general market when deciding whether to be aggressive or not with new buys. Again, I really didn't see too many new buys in the follow-through day. I didn't take one. Blah, blah, blah. Even if the follow through doesn't fail, it's likely to be erratic. I'm already dropping in terms of energy, guys. 0.58% now. We've dropped to 1.6%. So yeah, definitely seeing a lot more distribution than we would like. I can't call it distribution day, 30 minutes into the market open, but down 1.5% doesn't really bode well, even after a follow through day like we had. We noted, and we talked about this. Not all follow through days work, but you can't have a market uptrend without a follow through day, and we may get a follow through day failure. If it fails, if we get a distribution day today and we fail, then we'll see it in IBD, and I'll definitely, we'll make a note of that tomorrow. If they don't call it market back in correction, that means that per their rules, IBD rules, has to fail on the low of the move. I think it's the low of the move, to be honest with you. So I think this is the line we have to look for. We just have to deal with this and see what it brings forth. So, but again, if you want to take some of those short-term short positions, we talked about that, I think Friday as well. But anyway, if you want to take some short-term short positions, we're still below the 50-day here and below the 200-day here, the SPY. I'm going to get going, guys. Undercutting the 200-day here. So, yeah, Orbi and cash. Eli says, nah, market's still weird. Yeah, cash is always a great position during weird market times. You don't have to be correct and make money in both directions. There's a lot of money to be made on the upside versus the downside. And like you saw the other day here, market was looking weird here as well and reversed immediately. So cash is a position. Eli says, I love cash. You can do so much with it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to go, guys. Thanks for joining. I'll try to join again tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a power hour stream. Maybe I'll do it, but I'll cut it a little bit short, and I'll still do my newsletter. I think gold's still garbage. Well, let's go look at gold. Still down here. Here's that long-term trend line. Ugh. Here's that long-term trend line, and gold still undercut that. Looks like we're making new lows here. Yeah, gold is all technicals and sentiment, Eli. Bonds are a little different. You could do some research there, but gold's, you're a pretty good chartist, so just look at the charts. I mean, nothing here in gold says, hey, I should buy gold right now. At least to me, it doesn't. Rounding top, gapping lower. Nothing good. All right, guys, I'm going to go lay down. See you guys later.